Today we have made it to Oklahoma, and we are here at probably one of the most forgotten Civil War battlefield sites in all of the American Civil War, and one of the most important. This is the Battle of Honey Springs, Oklahoma, and that's a bug on my face. The Battle of Honey Springs. Stay tuned. Let's check it out together. This episode of History Saver is brought to you by Addressing Gettysburg. Addressing Gettysburg is a podcast that shares great experiences, quality programs, awesome guests, and is a welcoming community for all who love Gettysburg. So join in with host Matt Callery and find out why Addressing Gettysburg is one of the top-rated podcasts online today. You can find them on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Castbox, Podbean, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, and on Instagram, Facebook, and of course, right here on YouTube. So check out Addressing Gettysburg today, where history is not boring. Thank you to Addressing Gettysburg for sponsoring this video.
You're listening to Addressing Gettysburg.
So we are today in Honey Springs, Oklahoma, at the site of the Battle of Honey Springs, July 17th, 1863. There's a lot that's going to happen on this piece of ground, and this is another part of our series as we are exploring history across America. And I got to tell you, I am so excited to be standing right here, because this is a battle that's so often forgotten about, and it's probably the most important battle in the trans-Mississippi western area of the American Civil War. You've got the Texas Road just going to be running right behind me, right through Honey Springs, and that's part of the reason why this battle is going to occur in the first place. So what's going to happen here at Honey Springs on July the 17th, 1863 is going to happen because of a few different factors. One, the Texas Road, which it runs from Texas all the way up through Indian Territory, is going to come right through Honey Springs. At this time, the Indian Territory, not known as Oklahoma at the time, was controlled mostly by the Confederate Army, but was still in cahoots between both armies. Oklahoma and Indian Territory is going to sit right in the middle of everything. No one really has total control over this area. Fort Gibson, which is just a few miles away in Muskogee, Oklahoma, is going to be home to Union forces. Union forces there are going to learn that Confederates are getting resupplied, they're getting reinforcements, and they decide to hit them here at Honey Springs. The Confederate forces, their cavalry, has been harassing the Union wagon trains for months on end, and they're ready to put a stop to it. Well, it's all going to culminate right here at Honey Springs. So this is Elk Creek, or a portion of it, of what you're looking at here. There was once a bridge here. We'll get to the bridge in just a moment. But what is going on right here in this area on the morning and day of July the 17th, 1863, is you're going to have the Confederates who are going to be waiting for reinforcements coming up from their rears. Now, those reinforcements are going to end up coming in time prior to the action that's going to occur here. So what's going to occur here is that Union forces are going to leave Fort Gibson. They want to cut the Confederates down before they have a chance to get resupplied. The Union commander that morning has come down with a fever. He's sick. He presses on, even though he knows this is important to take the Confederates over. Now, the Confederates and Union armies have some men with them that are from this area, and these tribes are going to be split in divisions. Some want the federal way of life, the Union way of life. Some want the Confederate way of life. They have different opinions and ideas, and there's a civil war between the 5 civilized tribes itself. So these are the Union units that would be represented here. This is the 1st Indian Home Guards, 2nd Indian Home Guards, 3rd Indian Home Guards, 1st Kansas Colored Infantry, 6th Kansas Cavalry, 2nd Kansas Battery, Hopkins, Kansas Battery, 2nd Colorado Infantry, 3rd Wisconsin Infantry. For the 5 civilized tribes, you're going to have the 1st Indian Home Guard, Cherokees, 2nd Indian Home Guard, Cherokees with a Federal Army. Confederate, you're going to have Choctaw regiments, the 1st and 2nd, the Chickasaw and Choctaw Regiment of the 1st, Cherokee Regiment, 1st Creek Regiment, 2nd Creek Regiment, and Seminole detachments. For the Union side, you're also going to have these guys, 1st Regiment Kansas Colored Volunteers. Now, July the 17th, 1863, at the Battle of Honey Springs, the 1st Kansas Volunteers wrote a stirring page in American history, becoming one of the first black units of the Civil War to play a key role in Union victory. As Major General James G. Blunt, the 1st Union commander at Honey Springs, reported, the 1st Kansas Colored particularly distinguished itself. They fought like veterans and presented their line unbroken throughout the engagement. Their coolness and bravery I have never seen surpassed. They were in the hottest of the fight and opposed to Texas troops twice their number, whom they completely routed. Consisting of largely escaped slaves from Arkansas and Missouri, on January 13, 1863, the 1st Kansas became the 4th Black Regiment to officially enter federal service. They later redesignated as the 79th U.S. Colored Infantry. This command fought with bravery in Missouri, Indian Territory, Kansas, and Arkansas, and were mustered out in 1865. So let's talk about the 1st Kansas and what happens here at Honey Springs during the battle. So the night before the battle, the Confederate Army here gets a torrential rain downpour on them. That makes gunpowder wet. If your gunpowder is wet, guess what? You can't fire a musket. So even though the Confederates have an opposing, overwhelming number of troops here, half their rifles don't fire, taking most of those guys out of the action. The Union Army, however, has all of their rifles and gunpowder, and they're going to bring up their cannons. The Confederates are going to bring up their cannons, and there's going to be an artillery duel that starts to ensue here, and it lasts for 2 hours, around 2 hours. The Confederacy, as well, has this type of experimental cannon. It's a howitzer, and it throws a small spherical shell out that explodes. Well, it's going to take out one of the Union howitzers, and it's going to put the crew down, it's going to kill them, and it's going to take that gun completely out of the fight. The artillery battle here is pretty vicious. So what ends up happening, Union troops form a battle line. They start marching their way across the field with the 1st Kansas in the center, and the 1st Kansas is going to square up against some Texas troops. 1st Kansas is going to put up a heck of a fight. Well, those Texas troops out in these fields you see behind me are going to keep firing on this 1st Kansas Regiment. Well, an Indian Home Guard unit of the Cherokees is going to ride up between the Kansas Regiment and the Texas Regiment accidentally, and then they're going to be ordered from the commander, fall back into formation. The Confederate commander hears this and takes this and mistakes it for he's telling the Federal Army to retreat. Let's get them, boys. So the Confederate Army starts charging these regiments. The 1st Kansas is going to fight viciously. They're going to shoot down 3 color bearers as they approach them. They're going to put up one heck of a stance. They're the reason why the Union Army survives this fight. Now, the Confederates and the Federals are going to wind up later taking control of a bridge and fighting for control of that bridge right here in this location you see behind me. The 1st Kansas Colored particularly distinguished itself. They fought like veterans and preserved their line unbroken throughout the engagement. Their coolness and bravery I have never seen surpassed. They were in the hottest of the fight and opposed to Texas troops twice their number, whom they completely routed. One Texas regiment, the 20th Cavalry, that fought against them went into the fight with 300 men and came out with only 60. Major General James G. Blunt. So the bridge here in this location across this creek would have blood spilled on both sides as both men square off in this little bitty range. That's not far at all. From here to here, well, you could probably jump over this if you're a good jumper, but they're going to square off in a bloody firefight for a very long time, at least an hour in this location over this bridge, and the Confederates finally disengage and retreat. Their reinforcements never make it. If their reinforcements would have made it here before this bridge was taken, well, we could be seeing a different story. But because the Federal Army and the 1st Kansas is so instrumental at protecting this bridge and this location, well, the Trans-Mississippi area is going to fall into Union control, which is probably one of the most important actions of the American Civil War, especially here in the West, and it is often overlooked. So, if you have a chance, come out and visit this place today. I guarantee you, you're going to find some cool history here, and it's a very quiet, secluded, very neat piece of land. So come out and check it out for yourself. This is just another spite of hidden Civil War history, and you can read up on this for yourself. Read up more on it. I can't tell you everything about the battle in one episode, so there's a lot to learn, and this is going to, well, make a mark on the history of the 5 civilized tribes that's often forgotten about in Civil War history. And you know what? That's a shame. That's really a shame. So make your mark in history, guys. Research stuff. Don't forget these men who fought during the Civil War on both sides, because it was more than the Civil War of the country. It was also a Civil War between the Native American people, and it was a horrible situation. So from here at Honey Springs until the next place, we'll see you on the next episode of History Saver 1941. Thank you for watching. We'll see you down the road. Hey guys, thanks for watching History Saver 1941, and I just want to remind you, if you want to support this channel and support these cool historic sites like this and me bringing you the history, the best thing you can do is subscribe to the channel. That's the only thing I need you to do. Hit the subscribe button. Share our channel with your friends, get the word out, and thank you guys so much for your support. I love doing this. I love learning history along with you.